Have you ever noticed how sometimes the harder you try to save a relationship, the more it feels like you're sinking into a never-ending mess? It's almost a paradox. The love that should be your safe harbor turns into an emotional minefield. What if I told you the problem isn't your partner or even you, but a hidden psychological game quietly destroying your relationship? Believe it or not, there's a triangle dramatic, no less, where you play roles that trap you in a toxic cycle. But hold on, there's hope. What you're about to learn here can flip the script of your relationship with a few simple, little-known moves. Topic 1. The victim role. Sometimes people fall into this trap where they feel like life is just one big struggle. The victim role is all about feeling powerless and stuck, blaming everything and everyone but themselves. It's like that person who always says, "I only acted that way because they provoked me." You know, the type, the one everyone feels sorry for? Always poor thing. They never had luck in love. They avoid responsibility like it's a hot potato and wait around expecting the worst to happen. This mindset protects them, but also traps them in a loop of helplessness. Think about someone in a relationship who does everything for their partner, dropping their own plans. It's picking up all the slack around the house, or constantly fixing problems that aren't theirs. At first it looks like devotion, like wow, they really care. But over time, it builds up resentment and guilt. When the first fight hits, that person puts on the victim hat, saying things like, "I do so much for you, and you don't care at all." That's the victim playing their part, making it seem like they're the ones sacrificing everything. But here's the twist. This same person can also slip into the savior role, acting like if it weren't for me, your life would be a mess. It's a sneaky combo that messes with the relationship's balance. The victim feels overwhelmed and drained, while also convincing their partner they're the glue holding everything together. It's a toxic cycle, and spotting it is the first step to breaking free. Topic 2. The savior role. The savior role is tricky because it looks like love and care, but it often masks a deeper need to feel important or needed. These folks love to step in and fix things even when nobody asks for their help. It's like the overprotective parent who can let their kid fail or learn on their own. The savior believes that if they're not constantly helping, they're useless. But what they're really doing is keeping the other person stuck, treating them like a child who can't handle their own problems. Imagine a partner who always says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." Whether it's paying bills, making decisions, or smoothing over conflicts. Sounds helpful, right? But in reality, this creates a dynamic where the other person feels less capable and more dependent. It's exhausting, and eventually the rescued partner pushes back, saying, "I need to handle this myself." That's when the savior feels rejected and might flip into the victim role, complaining, "After all I do for you." What often happens next is the savior becomes the pursuer, lashing out with, "You don't appreciate me at all." This back and forth keeps everyone stuck in drama. The key to breaking this pattern? Learning to support without controlling, to love without smothering, and to let the other person grow on their own. Topic 3. The persecutor role. The persecutor is the one who's always on edge, quick to criticize and control. They see themselves as the ultimate judge of right and wrong and expect others to follow their rules perfectly. If things don't go their way, they lash out with sharp words or cold silence. Deep down, the persecutor is trying to hold on to control because they are scared of losing their place or being hurt. Picture someone who nitpicks everything: the way you dress, how you talk, even how you breathe sometimes. They might say things like, "You always start problems," or "You're the reason our relationship is a mess." It's harsh, draining, and nobody wants to be around that tension all the time. What's worse? After all the yelling and blame, the persecutor might feel guilty and switch roles, becoming the victim with, "I only act this way because you don't listen." This push and pull makes the relationship feel like a battlefield. Both people are fighting to survive, but nobody is really winning. To escape this, the couple needs to step back, recognize these patterns, and learn to communicate without attacking. Topic 4. Role switching, and the inner child here asks something most people realize these roles aren't set in stone. You can switch from victim to persecutor to savior and back again, sometimes in the same conversation. Why? Because these roles come from wounds we carry deep inside our inner child. That scared little kid who felt ignored, unlovable, or powerless is still there, influencing how we act today. The victim reflects that child who believed suffering was the only way to get attention. The savior is the kid who thought they had to be perfect to be loved. And the persecutor is the one who used anger to protect themselves from being hurt. These roles were survival tactics back then, but now they trap us in unhealthy patterns. The first step to healing is recognizing that not just adults acting out, we carrying pieces of our childhood that need care. Once you start to see this, it becomes easier to understand why you react the way you do. It's not just about your partner or your situation, it's about old wounds trying to get heard. The good news? You can choose to respond differently, breaking the cycle for good. Topic 5. The new triangle. Permission, protection, and power. Luckily, there's a better way. Instead of the old triangle of victim, savior, and persecutor, there's a new one. Permission, protection, and power. This new model isn't just feel-good talk, it's practical and powerful. It replaces drama with respect, control with support, and manipulation with trust. But fair warning, it takes real courage and effort to make this shift. Permission means letting your partner be who they are without trying to control or fix them. It's saying, I love you as you are, and I trust you to handle your own stuff. For example, if your partner wants to change careers or try something new, instead of reacting with fear or judgment, you listen and support. Permission is about giving freedom, not about stepping back or losing interest. Protection and power round out the triangle. Protection is about creating a safe space where both can be vulnerable, listen actively, and respect boundaries. Power is about owning your strength, while respecting your partner's no-control games. Just shared autonomy. When practiced consistently, this new triangle builds a relationship on solid ground, not quicksand. Topic 6. Practical examples of permission, protection, and power. Let's put this into practice. Say your partner says, I can't take what my brother is doing anymore. In the old triangle, you might jump in with solutions or get defensive. But with power, you ask, hey, what did you do last time something like this happened? You're reminding them of their own strength, not just letting them off the hook. Or imagine your partner acting like a persecutor says, I asked for your advice, but you don't care at all. Instead of getting defensive, you use permission. I'm not here to decide for you. I believe you can handle this better than I can. It puts the ball back in their court without blame. And if the savior partner says, I do everything for you because I do it better, you respond with protection. Thanks for the help, but I want to try this on my own this time. If I get stuck, I'll ask for your support. It's a way to encourage independence while showing appreciation. Topic 7. The paper hat exercise. Training the new dynamic theory is great, but practice is where the magic happens. Try this fun exercise. Make 3 paper hats labeled victim, savior, and persecutor. When you catch yourself or your partner slipping into one of these roles during a conversation, put on the corresponding hat. It sounds silly, but it's a playful way to become aware of old habits in real time. The hats work like a gentle reminder. Signal to slow down and rethink your approach, and don't take it too seriously. Laughter and lightness help break tension and keep things from escalating. Over time, this game builds mutual understanding and turns conflict into teamwork rather than blame. Combine this with practicing permission, protection, and power in everyday talk, and you'll see old toxic roles lose their grip. Suddenly, you and your partner will feel like real allies, not opponents. Topic 8. Patience and caring for the inner child. Changing deep patterns isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And it demands patience, especially with that inner child who keeps popping up. Every time you slip back into old behaviors, it's like that scared little kid inside is calling out for love and attention. That's why kindness both to yourself and your partner is essential. You won't heal by fighting or blaming. Have you noticed how, in heated moments, logic flies out the window and feelings take over? That's your inner child showing up loud and clear. The couple needs to create a safe emotional space to listen, not just to words, but to the pain behind them. It doesn't mean agreeing with everything, but it does mean understanding and respect. Over time, as you care for this inner child, the relationship grows stronger. You learn to accept vulnerability and heal old wounds together. Before you know it, that toxic triangle fades away, replaced by real partnership. Topic 9. The positive impact of consistently practicing the new triangle once permission, protection, and power become regular habits. The change in your relationship is almost immediate. Communication stops being a battleground and becomes a bridge. Respecting each other's space and trusting one another turns conflict into growth opportunities instead of threats. You'll feel a fresh energy in your connection, less pressure, more honesty. Love shifts from being a battlefield to a garden you both nurture. Problems won't vanish overnight, but how you handle them will transform, creating a positive feedback loop that strengthens your bond daily. Best of all, you stop being victims of your past emotions and start consciously shaping your present together. This doesn't just affect your relationship, it spills over into friendships, work, and your own self-view. But this can only happen if you truly commit to this change. Conclusion. Have you ever thought that all those fights, blame games, and hurts could be broken just by tweaking how you talk and relate? Real change starts when you take responsibility for your role, not with guilt, but with bravery. Ask yourself, which of the 3 roles do you usually play? Now imagine if today you could choose to act differently, using power, permission, and protection in your relationship. How would it feel to live a relationship where honest talk, respect, and love are daily practices? So are you ready to break free from the toxic cycle and build something new? Why not start applying these ideas right now? If you like this content and want to keep learning how to improve your relationship and your emotional life, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. So that way you won't miss a thing, and we can walk this growth journey together. Ready to take that first step?